Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning into today's webinar. Today, BizEquity's Chief Revenue Officer, Jason Early, is going to be discussing tactics that you can use to take your prospecting to the next level, as well as showing you how BizEquity's Big Data Prospecting tool can help you discover new small business clients.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you, everybody, for joining today. Very excited to spend the next half an hour or so with you. And as Grace said, we're going to talk about how you can use the BizEquity platform to find and engage with new business owner customers. And so we're very excited to have you all on with us today. I think we have a very nice mix of current users and clients of ours, as well as strategic partners and prospects as well. And so what I'm going to do is give just a little bit of background on who we are and what we do, but how you can kind of transition some of your marketing messaging into the business owner marketplace to use business valuation, as we say, is the key to unlock the door. And so first, I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of the opportunity that you all have in the marketplace, which is $7 trillion of business value will transfer over the next decade. And so there's an incredible opportunity as those of you, right, are in positions that serve the business owner, be it a financial advisor, an accountant, a wealth manager, a banker, etc. There's an incredible opportunity over the next decade to get your sliver, to get your piece of that $7 trillion and help that $7 trillion wealth transfer, because the reality is everyone exits their business one day, one way or another, right? It's the successful exits that give you, as those that serve the business owner opportunity, the real opportunity. And so when you look at the facts around business valuation, it's a little bit daunting or a little bit scary when you see that 98% of business owners, right? So 98% of those that own privately held businesses don't know their value or don't value themselves. Yet 78% of them plan to fund their retirement 80 to 100% through the sale of their business, right? And so when you think about those two things in a vacuum, that's a scary thought, that 78% of business owners say, yeah, 80 to 100% of my retirement is going to come from the sale of my business. I just don't know what that's worth, right? And so it's a very scary thought for those that own businesses, having no inclination as to what their retirement picture looks like. And so we think that they deserve to know that, and it's your obligation or your responsibility to help them see that. And beyond that, 40% of business owners have no life insurance, and 50% of those that do are underinsured. So we know that 9 out of 10 are getting it wrong, and we know that they're getting it wrong because ultimately they don't know what the value of that business is worth. And so when you look at why only 2% of businesses know their value, it becomes abundantly clear, right? It's because the business valuation done traditionally wasn't built with the business owner in mind, right? It's very expensive, oftentimes $10,000 to $20,000 at a minimum. It's very slow, right? Typically takes 4 to 6 weeks, and it's done offline. And so the reality is, the result is only 2% of businesses do it year in and year out. And so that's how we end up with a world where only 2% of businesses are valuing themselves. Yet when you look at it, it's an $8 billion market, right? So with only 2% of businesses valuing themselves year in and year out, it's an $8 billion market. And the opportunity is so great because, as an advisor or somebody that serves the business owners wake up day in and day out thinking about what? Their business and the value of their business. So it's top of mind, but because the process to understand their value traditionally is so difficult, it results in just 2% of them doing it year in and year out. And so again, with just 2% of businesses valuing themselves, it's an $8 billion market. And so that represents a tremendous opportunity. Yet, what we always say is, how can you do any of these following activities, right? How can you plan for retirement or create a succession plan or protect the value of your business or understand, whether or not you're properly funded, manage risk, all these things? How can you do any of these things without understanding the value of your business? Well, the answer is that you can't. Yet there's businesses out there every single day doing these things or making these type of critical financial decisions without understanding that value, right? And so we believe that business owners deserve to know their value. And so it's our mission to democratize that knowledge for them, right? And so what we did is we put valuation online in our patented 7-step process that I'm going to walk you through just briefly. And we put it in the hands of those that serve the business owner. So you as an advisor to a business owner, right? And by advisor, I could mean, again, a financial advisor, an insurance or wealth advisor, a banker, an accountant, a private equity associate, whatever the case might be, anybody that's advising businesses. You now have the ability on your own white label to deliver valuations in real time to your business owner clients and prospects. And so again, we're going to talk in just a little bit about how you use business valuation as the key to unlock the door and find and engage with new businesses. But this is, again, the deliverable, which is your ability to deliver them valuations in real time. And so again, we put it online in our patented 7-step process. The algorithm was built by our Chief Valuation Officer, Scott Gabehart. Scott literally wrote the business valuation book. He's done more than 5,000 offline business valuations. He testifies for the SBA and the IRS with a lot of frequency. And again, it's his mind that built the algorithm along with the technology. And again, the algorithm or our platform, and this is to our founding team's credit, right? Business valuation is not something that you can get half right. And so we've been benchmarked by KPMG and banks and insurance companies and data companies alike. And very typically when it's apples to apples comparison in terms of data going into the platform and data that they have, we're within single percentage points on the valuation. And so again, to our founding team's credit, the algorithm works, which is important in our business. But I think part of the reason that it works is because of the amount of data sources that we use, right? And so when you think about valuation done traditionally, so if I'm an accounting firm or I'm a valuation shop or an M&A shop or something to that effect, and I do a lot of business valuations, my largest spend very typically is transaction history data, right? And so I may gather that from 1 or 2 different data sources, maybe 3. But because of obviously the business that we're in, we're gathering data from several hundred sources. And we really have some unique data sources that feed our algorithm and give us the ability to value businesses so accurately. And so the patented 7-step process is going to do a number of things. Number one, it's going to deliver business owners value in real time. That number will dynamically change throughout the process based on the inputs. We're going to ultimately stack rank that business against their industry peers, both nationally and locally. And the platform, again, in real time creates 2 outputs. The first of which is a 29-page business valuation report. And the second is a 2-page insurance value report. We'll touch on both of those in just a minute. And ultimately, it's going to deliver that business owner with 12 different key performance indicators, which will, again, deliver insights that business owner likely wouldn't see or get anywhere else. And so when you look at the first output, again, which is this business valuation report, and again, think about it from a prospecting standpoint. Put existing clients aside for a second and think about being able to pull your prospects through this 7-step process and deliver this report, right? This 29-page report is going to go through why valuation is important, our methodology, 4 different conclusions of value, so equity, asset, enterprise, and liquidation value of the business, as well as definitions around each one. So certainly you don't need to be an expert in business valuation to deliver this report. It's very turnkey. And the same thing with the 12 different key performance indicators or KPIs. And so when you think about the KPIs that we serve up, things like inventory turnover, debt to equity, or any of those things, again, you certainly don't need to be an expert on them, because what we're going to do is we're going to tell you in the report why it should matter, what it means, and give you an example. So again, it's very turnkey. And again, if you think about from the standpoint of delivering this to somebody who's a prospect, to somebody that you're trying to onboard as a client, it's an incredible on-ramp to the services that you provide. So by delivering them or answering their most important question, which is, what is my business worth? You're able to now answer that question for them and deliver these insights that they otherwise wouldn't get. So you're building trust, you're deepening that relationship, again, ultimately allowing you to provide, your services, your expertise and advice around the business value. Because again, our goal is not to turn you into a business valuation expert, right? Our goal is to unlock that value and have you as the advisor, as well as the business owner, understand what that value is so that they can do all the ancillary things around that properly, whether it be manage risk, whether it be properly diversify their investment portfolio, whether it be ensure that they're properly funded, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's all well and good. And traditionally, when you think about the marketplace and advisors to business owners, so again, whether you're a financial advisor, a banker, a wealth manager, what have you, the small and medium-sized business, right, the privately held business is really actually a very underserved marketplace. So while there's a ton of competition in the high net worth and ultra high net worth space, in the new family and personal marketplace, there's a lot of green grass in the business owner marketplace because, again, traditionally, wealth managers will kind of wait for that business to exit their business so that they can manage the assets, while everybody is kind of under pressure, from kind of the remnants of the DOL ruling that was looming in 2017. Everybody's kind of under pressure to be a comprehensive financial planner. I think the business owner marketplace represents arguably the best opportunity for the advisor. And so when you look at a business owner who isn't necessarily planning on exiting their business, what is your job as a planner while they operate that business? Well, number one, it's to protect the value of the business that they've created, right? So these business owners, their blood, sweat, and tears, right? Everything that they do, they pour into their business to create this business value. So now you're able to not only unlock that business value and kind of deliver them an understanding of what their business is worth, how do you then protect it, right? For three important parties, right? The employees of that business, your business partners as a business owner, and most importantly, your family, right? How are you protecting the value of the business that you've created? That's very important to us. And so that's why we created the insurance value report, which is going to go through, key coverage areas for that business, right? That'll say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, based on your business value, here's what other businesses that look like you carry in these different key coverage areas. And again, this report is designed to light a match and ignite the conversation around, hey, this is how you protect the value of the business that you've created, right? Now that we understand what your business is worth, how can we properly protect that? Because when you think about it from a buy-sell insurance or a key person insurance standpoint, traditionally the insurance advisor or the financial advisor had a problem on their hands, right? When they would go sit with a prospect or a client and they would say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, what's your business worth? We know that only 2% of businesses know the answer to that question. So either it was going to be their best guess, and or the advisor would have to say, all right, well, I have a relationship with this accountant or this valuation shop or what have you. Go see them, spend $10,000 to $20,000 bucks, spend 4 to 6 weeks, go through this very intrusive process, and call me at the end when it's done and let me know what you come to. And what happens, right? Number one, you've effectively disintermediated yourself. And two, they never call back, right? Because they're not going through that process. They're going back to what they do day in and day out that again, puts food on the table and drives the value of their business. Now you control that process. You're able to deliver it in real time. And ultimately, again, what you're trying to do is protect the value of that business, either with the buy-sell or the key person, or the funding or the loan, or the wealth management, et cetera, et cetera. And so again, what we're doing is putting you as the advisor in the driver's seat by being able to answer that question. And again, it changes the game, not only with clients, but for topics of kind of today's discussion with prospects. And so how are you changing or how are you positioning, right, the ability to answer the business owner's most important question in your marketing materials? And that's very important. And so, while that's all well and good, right, we've yet to find an advisor or a subscriber on our platform that doesn't want more business owner clients, right? Traditionally, most advisors are focused, not exclusively, but focused very heavily on new client acquisition. And again, I think that there's a tremendous opportunity for those of you that do serve the business owner in the business owner marketplace, right? How can you grow and expand your business owner client base and constantly be top grading your business? Well, we think that one of the ways to do so, and one of the most powerful ways to do so, is with our Zillow for Business prospecting feature, and I used air quotes there. But what we've done is we've pre-valued, right, with our biz estimate, over 33 million businesses across the country. And so what we do is we gather data from over 200 sources. We take all of the data that we can gather and we jam it into our algorithm to come up with these pre-valuations, and then allow our subscribers to dynamically search based on where they are in the country, based on the markets that they serve, based on the value of the business that they want to work with, for business owners. And so what you can do is say, okay, show me all the dentists in Philadelphia over $2 million. And we're going to serve up 50 or 100 or however many of those that there are. And as you can see on the right side of the screen here, right, this is where we'd serve them up. And you would click on one of these businesses. And by clicking on one of these businesses, what you would see is several things. Number one, you're going to see the owner name and contact information. So email, phone number, website, physical address, etc. On about 1 million businesses in our platform, if they filed their Form 5500, we're going to serve up the benefit plan data, so the retirement plan data, be it a 401k plan or profit sharing plan or 403b, etc. We're going to serve up the assets of the plan. But most importantly, we're going to serve up a pre-valuation. So you see down the right-hand side, and this is just a screen grab, obviously, but you see down the right-hand side, Acme International at 30 million, or Alpha Management at 18, or Mackey's Long Haul Trucking at 3.5, or DD's at 75,000. Again, depending on the markets that you serve, it's this biz estimate. And so what that allows you to do is call on this business owner. And I say this all the time, and I say it kind of tongue in cheek, because I came out of the life insurance space and the financial services space, and I love the financial services space, especially, again, the life insurance business. But these business owners absolutely, unequivocally do not wake up day in and day out thinking about life insurance or estate planning or asset allocation or their risk management or, things like that, right? If they did, quite honestly, they'd be a drag to be around. But what they're thinking about day in and day out is their business, right? How do I increase the value of my business? But none of them know the value of their business today. And so what we allow you to do by serving up that biz estimate is to call on and engage with these business owners on a whole new level. And so imagine calling up, John Smith at Alpha Management. I'm just using this business as an example right here. And so imagine calling up John Smith and saying, hey, John, if you're like 98% of businesses, you haven't valued yourself, right? We have you pre-valued here between 15 and 20 million bucks, which may or may not be right, quite frankly. But I'd love to come show you my complimentary business valuation tool to get a real understanding of what your business is worth and what that means to you and your employees and your family. So now you've totally changed the conversation from calling on John Smith, to calling on him and talking about, again, whatever your specialty is, be it insurance planning or wealth planning or banking or whatever. He's getting an awful lot of phone calls like that today. But if you're calling on him talking about what's most important to him, which is the value of his business, you've immediately differentiated yourself in the marketplace, right? And so not only are we serving up all these businesses and providing you access to all these different businesses, but we're providing you with insight or context that you otherwise wouldn't have. And so, again, BizEquity is a prospecting tool, or business valuation, right, as a prospecting tool is a real game changer. And we've proven that with several thousand of our clients. And we're going to talk about how some of the best users on our platform are using it to find and engage new business owner clients in just a second. And so with that on the prospecting side, we're going to serve up all these things, right? So it's the key contact info, the benefit plan data, our biz estimate, which is the biggest differentiator, we're going to grade ourselves because obviously on the prospecting side, we're doing this. We're giving you a directionally accurate kind of guess on what that business is worth. We're doing that based on publicly available data. So nobody has perfect data on private businesses. Ours, I would say, is good, if not better than anybody's. But again, it's allowing you as someone who serves the business owner to find new businesses in your market and engage with them. And then we'll serve up the personal wealth data through a partnership with Windfall Data as well. And so let me go back to this screen and just share kind of a best practice is what users of our platform will do. So, for those of us that are in the financial services space or banking space or what have you, as you're out there networking and kind of growing your network, very typically you're calling on clients and asking for referrals or asking them to bring guests to events or make introductions on your behalf. Because of big data today, be it social media, things like BizEquity's, right, Zillow for business prospecting here, you now have better insights into who your clients know, right? So what some of our best users are doing on this platform is they're saying, all right, show me, again, I'll use dentists as an example. Show me all the dentists in Wayne, Pennsylvania, where I'm sitting right now, over $1 million. And then they're saying, all right, I have a client who's a dentist. I'm going to go sit with this dentist client and I'm going to say, hey, Dr. John Smith, here are the 20 other dentists in this geographical area that I'm calling on. Do you have relationships with any of them? And perhaps you could provide an introduction and we could do it on the basis of, my ability to help them understand what the value of their business is, just the way I helped you with it, right? And so you're not only using BizEquity for kind of cold marketing or cold prospecting by calling on them, but you're gaining warm introductions into businesses that you wouldn't have had visibility on otherwise, right? And so, it's difficult to go onto Google and just type in manufacturing companies in Philadelphia or manufacturing companies in Chicago and build a 10-name list, right? A 10-name list is an old kind of financial services way of building your database. And I would say to build a proper 10-name list is to know who that business owner knows. Well, if you know that the market they're in, the chances are fairly good that they know those business owners that you're calling on. So again, our best users are not only using it for cold marketing, but they're using it by putting in front of their clients and prospects and gaining introductions to other businesses in those same markets. And so very powerful stuff. And then one of the other things that clients are doing on our platform, which is again very powerful, is with a subscription to BizEquity, you get kind of platform access. And so that means a certain number of full valuation reports, access to the prospecting, but also access to our Client Success Center. And the Client Success Center is essentially a resource library or a content library for you to deliver this to the marketplace. And so, again, I talked earlier about messaging. And if you were to go on to LinkedIn today, or even just turn on the TV and look at a lot of the marketing that goes on towards kind of the marketplace from the financial services industry, you're going to see a lot of stuff about retirement planning. You're going to see a lot of stuff about risk management and insurance planning. You're going to see a lot of stuff about banking, etc. You see very little about helping businesses understand the value of their business, right? I mean, for hundreds of years, we've been able to value public companies with the public, right, the stock market, but there's never been a way to at scale value private companies. And so again, I think our subscribers have the unique ability to market this service to the business owner and again really differentiate themselves in the marketplace. And so that's what we've built in the Success Center with marketing campaigns and marketing slicks and white stories. There you can go in and see some of our success stories and our Hall of Fame, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I think if you use this content to help announce to the marketplace, again, through digital marketing, through email campaigns, through existing client and prospect newsletters, et cetera, by just changing some of the messaging, and we provide you with this content. So it's already pre-built. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to slap your logo on it. By changing kind of the message towards the business owner of, hey, I'm here to help you understand what the value of your business is, and then we can build plans around that. You're significantly differentiating yourself in the marketplace. And again, it's that kind of key to unlock the door into the business owner marketplace. And so again, you can go to bizequity.com/Hall of Fame and you can see, what subscribers are saying, but our founder always likes to say that he's a great entrepreneur and perhaps not a great businessman, from the standpoint of our subscribers are paying us a very little amount of money for access to our platform, and they're making a heck of a lot more using our platform than what they're paying us. And so great people like Jim Urban down in Austin, Texas, who's gathered over 100 million of assets on the platform. And so this slide speaks to that a little bit, which is, big impact, big ROI, right? But bigger impact. And we like to look at the impact that we're having on the marketplace. And so nearly $1 billion in insurance sold, nearly $1 billion in assets under management, and well over 100 million of loans originated on our platform. And this is coming from a fairly small sample size of our users surveyed. And so, again, we look at that and say, we're making an impact not only on the folks that are using our platform or our subscribers, but more so think about the impact of the businesses, to the business owner and the people, the employees of those businesses, right? We know that they're better protected. We know that they're getting better advice, and we know that they're properly funded. And so again, we see this just growing exponentially the more that people are kind of marketing the BizEquity platform. And so we're very excited about that. And so with just a couple minutes left, I'm going to make kind of an exciting little announcement for us at BizEquity, which is we're going to be launching in probably the latter part of Q1 a very exciting leads program or leads network, because what we found is that business owners very certainly are curious about what their business is worth. And so as people are engaging with our website, right, on trying to understand or trying to better understand, as the business owners are engaging with our website, trying to understand what their business is worth, they're very interested in talking with somebody about that. And we at BizEquity are not in the advice business. And so what we've piloted with several of our users is connecting those businesses to our users. And the success was overwhelming, right, in terms of connecting those businesses to users of BizEquity in a leads matching program. And again, the success was overwhelming in terms of meeting set, business written, et cetera, et cetera. And so in a quote here from someone who was a part of that, they say, as oxygen is to the sustenance of life, so are the quality leads to the success of any business. BizEquity's new lead generation match program is definitely top notch. I've made a sale, I've booked appointments, and I've added prospective clients to my sales funnel with a simple phone call. I highly recommend it. And so, again, we were very successful in the pilot of this. And so in the latter part of Q1, early stages of Q2 next year, we're going to roll out this leads matching program. And again, we think, we know, because we've proven it, that the quality of these leads is incredible, because again, these are businesses that are very interested at that moment in time in understanding what the value of their business is, and you can deliver that to them. So, the quality of the leads is very high, and your ability to, again, answer that question and then provide your services around that is inevitable. And so we think that the impact that we're going to make through that leads matching program is very exciting. And so, again, I hope you'll inquire with us about that. We'd love to talk to you more about that. And I'm just going to put on the screen here quickly my contact information. It's just jason@bizequity.com. My cell phone number. Please, I'd love to hear from you. I know we only carved out a half an hour today, and so that's difficult to kind of leave time for questions and dialogue. And so I'm encouraging you to shoot me an email, jason@bizequity.com, or give me a call on my cell phone. I'd love to talk through or point you in the right direction of kind of how some of our best users are using the BizEquity platform to prospect and engage and find more business owner clients. We have a world-class client success team and organization that puts on webinars and shares best practices from from our users. And so, again, I'm happy to share those success stories with you and best practices. But we appreciate you carving out 30 minutes to be with us today. We know that you all have very busy schedules. And again, thank you for spending the time. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. And we thank you. We thank you very much. Please continue to help us on our mission to democratize valuation knowledge for the business owner through, again, your use of BizEquity and your great work providing business owners with sound advice. So thank you very much. Hope you all have a great day.